You hear the name Real Madrid, and what pops in your head? Probably those gleaming all-white kits, right? Or maybe legendary superstars, packed stadiums, the whole shebang. But here's the thing, this is so much more than just a football team. It's a global institution, a cultural symbol, and honestly, one of the most successful sporting operations in history. So what's the secret behind the white legend?
Okay, let's just start with one single, absolutely staggering number: 15. That's how many times Real Madrid have won the UEFA Champions League, which is, Europe's biggest prize. It's a record, and it's not even close. This isn't just a run of good luck, it's sustained generational dominance. So how on earth have they managed to do it?
All right, to really get to the bottom of it, we're going to break down this legend into 5 key parts. We'll look at their reputation as the kings of Europe, then dig into how they built their royal identity. After that, we'll cover their empire of superstars, dive into the world's fiercest rivalry, and finally, we'll see why they're truly more than a club.
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, it's not just about winning trophies. Not at first. The Real Madrid story really starts with this unique identity that was forged more than 100 years ago, one that right away positioned them as the team of the Spanish establishment.
I mean, the clue is right there in the name, Real. In 1920, King Alfonso XIII gave the club that title, which literally means royal in Spanish. And this wasn't just some fancy new name. It was a huge statement. It tied the club's destiny directly to the Spanish monarchy, giving them a kind of prestige they've carried ever since.
Okay, so you see the timeline here, right? But the real turning point, the moment everything changed, was in 1943. A guy named Santiago Bernabeu becomes president, and he had a vision that was way bigger than anyone else's. He didn't just see a Spanish football club, he saw a global empire. And it was that vision that led directly to the creation of the European Cup and, incredibly, Madrid winning the first 5 in a row.
Now, that global empire that Bernabeu was dreaming of, it wasn't just about winning. It was about how you win. His idea of always signing the world's best players laid the foundation for a philosophy that would define the club for decades, the Galacticos.
So what exactly are the Galacticos? Well, the policy is pretty simple, but it's also incredibly bold. Sign the biggest, most famous football players on the planet, no matter what they cost. It was really championed by President Florentino Perez, and the strategy wasn't just about what happened on the field. It was about creating a brand, a spectacle, a team so full of stars that the entire world would have to stop and watch.
And you can see this idea pop up again and again and again throughout their history. It started way back with the first dynasty of guys like Di Stefano and Puskás. Then you had the famous Galactico eras with Zidane, Ronaldo, Beckham, then came Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course the recent signing of Kylian Mbappé just proves this philosophy is alive and well today.
If you want to understand just how audacious this whole philosophy is, this quote says it all. When Florentino Perez first ran for president back in 2000, the club was deep in debt. So what was his big idea? It wasn't to save money. No, it was to make maybe the most controversial signing in football history, stealing Luis Figo directly from their biggest rivals, Barcelona. It was a massive power play that showed for Real Madrid image and dominance mattered just as much as balancing the books.
And did it work? Well, just look at this list. The club's all-time leading goal scorers. It's a Hall of Fame. You've got legends like Di Stefano, Raúl, Benzema. They all define their own eras of success. But there's one name that just stands in a category all its own.
450. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how many goals Cristiano Ronaldo scored for Real Madrid. But here's the craziest part. He did it in only 438 games. That's more than a goal every single time he stepped on the pitch. It's a level of production that's almost impossible to believe, and it's the ultimate payoff of that Galacticos philosophy.
Okay, so you can't have a hero without a villain, right? And for Real Madrid, you absolutely cannot tell their story without talking about their rivals, FC Barcelona. Their showdown, known as El Clásico, is probably the biggest, most watched, and most politically charged club game in the entire world.
Yeah, they call it the Classic, but honestly, that doesn't even begin to cover it. This is a clash of everything. It's cities, it's cultures, it's political ideologies. Madrid versus Barcelona, Castile versus Catalonia. In this rivalry, every single pass and every single goal carries the weight of more than 100 years of history.
So the way the sources break it down is like this. You've got two opposing forces. On one side, there's Real Madrid, often seen as representing the centralizing establishment of Spain, with its roots in Castile and Aragon. And on the other side, you have FC Barcelona, which has historically been a powerful symbol of Catalan identity and a voice for the region.
It's these deep-seated tensions that give the rivalry its incredible fire.
I mean, to give you an idea of just how deep this all runs, one author cited in our source material goes so far as to call the match a reenactment of the Spanish Civil War. Wow, that's an incredibly heavy statement, and it tells you everything you need to know about what this game means to people on both sides.
Okay, so they're winning trophies, they have superstars, they're in this massive rivalry, but how do they pay for it all? How does this whole machine keep running? Well, the answer is in a really unique structure and a business model that's turned them into a financial titan.
And here's something that might actually surprise you. Unlike most of today's mega clubs that are owned by billionaires or even entire countries, Real Madrid is owned by its fans. They're called socios, or members, and they're the ones who vote for the club president and make the big decisions. It's a democratic setup that's becoming super rare at the top of the sport.
And don't think for a second that this fan-owned model means they're small time. It's created a financial behemoth. Just look at these numbers from 2024. A valuation of $6.6 billion, making them the most valuable football club on the planet. And get this, they also became the very first club to ever generate over 1 billion euros in revenue in a single year.
And their power goes way beyond the pitch or the bank account. Their global reach is incredible. They were the first sports brand, not just football, any sport, to hit 100 million fans on Facebook. That's just a testament to their status as a true global cultural phenomenon.
So all of this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question. We're in a new era of football now, with state-owned clubs and seemingly endless private money transforming the game. So the question is, can Real Madrid's model, this 120-year-old fan-owned system for dominance, actually last? Their past is legendary for sure, but their future, well, that might just be their greatest challenge yet.